when we had kids and we wanted to look for a congregation for our kids to get an education in Judaism and to be able to have a b'nai mitzvah, a bar and bat mitzvah, we chose a Reform synagogue. We felt like that fit most with how we led our lives. We stayed there for 17 years, long past the bar mitzvah. And towards the end, I turned to my wife and I said, why are we still members? We don't go. We go on the high holidays. Maybe we go one other time for Yizkor service, but we pay $3,000 and we don't do anything. The Hebrew part means nothing to me. I don't understand it. And when I read the English translation, that doesn't speak to me. Finally, one year, after 17 years, she said, it's okay, we can stop. We took the $3,000 and we went to Israel for the first time, and I had a whole different experience about what it meant to be Jewish. Met many of my relatives there and just had an incredible experience. And then I took the rest of the money and I took a Florence Melton course in Judaism. And there were about 30 people in the class, a couple of different teachers. They looked at the writings, the scriptures, spoke about what the different denominations, how they would understand it. Every once in a while, one of the instructors would ask a question, like, is there anybody here who doesn't believe that God wrote the Torah? Is there anybody here who doesn't believe that Jewish people should be following the laws of our religion? Is there anybody here who doesn't believe in God? I wanted to raise my hand, but I didn't want to be the only one to raise my hand. I didn't want the focus to all be on me and why I felt so differently. And so I didn't. I kept my hand down. So when I left the class, my hand was still up. And I had heard something about Humanistic Judaism, and I went to the internet and explored it a little bit. And I found that there was this congregation very close to my home called Kol Hadash. There was a meet and greet where I first met about 12 different people. I liked all the people, but my wife and I left and there were two things that really sold us. My wife said, I can't believe what they do in the Sunday school here. To have kids think for themselves, that a kid can be exposed to all of this and decide he doesn't believe in Judaism, and even that could be okay. That you really think for yourself, or that you could pick anything you want to talk about on your bar mitzvah. So she left and she said, I wish our kids had gone here for the Sunday school, the Hebrew school experience. They wouldn't have resented their experience like they do now. For me, what grabbed me was really, more than anything, was Rabbi Shalom. He was talking about how in the 5 books of Moses, in the different books, God is referred to by different names. In one book it's Yahweh, in another book it's Adonai. In one book, the story of Noah brings 2 of every clean animal and 2 of every unclean animal. But in a later book, later portion of the Torah, he brings 2 of every unclean animal and 7 of every clean animal. So if God wrote the Torah, which story is it? And why would there be different names for God and different styles of writing? And that just fascinated me. I am much more engaged than I'm sure my wife, my sister, my son, my daughter, my mother, any of them would ever have imagined than I would have imagined. I wasn't a joiner, and I didn't feel engaged in the congregation I grew up in or in the congregation that we went to for 17 years. I went, but I didn't believe, and now I don't have to believe. I only have to believe what I believe. And in Kol Hadash, I can do what fits for me, and that feels good.